Welcome back to Verna's vlog. The University of Alberta acknowledges that we are located on Treaty 6 territory and the Métis homeland, and respects the histories, languages, and cultures of First Nations, Métis Inuit, and all First Peoples of Canada, whose presence continues to enrich our vibrant community. It's a real pleasure to welcome Sarah Wolgemuth and Christian Fotang, and I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves to you, but we are going to be talking about the Student Experience Action Plan, or SEEP, and this is a sequel to a vlog that we did over a year ago when SEEP was launched in January of 2024. So that, Sarah, maybe over to you to introduce yourself.
Sure, thanks Verna. My name is Sarah Wolgemuth and I'm the Associate Vice-president Student Experience and the Project Director for the Student Experience Action Plan.
Christian?
Hi, I'm Christian. And I'm in my 7th year of my undergraduate. I'm happy to be graduating this semester, but in addition to that, I'm working alongside Sarah on the Student Experience Action Plan team as the Student Experience Strategic Coordinator.
So Christian, it didn't take you 7 years to graduate. Tell me a bit why it's taken you 7 years.
Well, I love this place so much, and as a U of A diehard, I wanted to contribute as much as I can to this place. So spent 3 years of my time in undergraduate on the University of Alberta Students' Union, and through that I was the Vice President External and the President, and was able to work on so many phenomenal projects, and one of those that I'm the most proud of is the Student Experience Action Plan.
Wonderful. So yeah, just a little minor roles in Students' Union leadership. Christian, you've been a fantastic Students' Union President, and we really enjoyed working with you. So coming back to SEEP, it's now 1 year since it was officially launched, and maybe, Christian, I'll just start with you. You know, in that year since you've been working on this project, what are some of the things that you've been most proud of?
I think seeing the students' reactions to the initiatives that we've put out on the project. So this past year, on last semester, we were tabling in spots like Cameron Library, across Students' Union Building, all over across campus, and then we sit down and we tell students a bit more about what SEEP is and what it is we're doing and what we're collecting feedback from. They're like, oh, this is, you guys, or like, oh, the university cares. And it's like, yes, we do care. We want to make sure that, you have the best student experience that you can. So just getting the chance to offer students that, like, this is what we're doing to improve your undergraduate or your graduate experience, and then really seeing that there is that time and effort being put into investing in their education has been really, great for me to see, and also great for me as well to just see the time and effort into the initiatives that we've put forward come into action, which is not often the case of students who've been here for only 3 or 4 years.
So when you speak with students, Christian, do you find that what's SEEP? Like, I've never heard of SEEP, or are you getting the sense that they're more familiar with what this is?
I'm getting the sense that, like, there's still a bit of like, what is SEEP? But I'm getting the sense that when we say, okay, do you really care about the cleaning standards around the building, or do you really care about mental health supports and waiting less for that? And when we explain how they've been able to add more mental health counselors, and that was an initiative through SEEP, students are like, oh, okay, that's amazing. I really like that, or I have a friend who really benefited from that. And then when we continue to tell them, well, there's more that we want to do through things like advising, they're like, oh, that'd be fantastic. Here's the feedback that I have. So everyone's really committed to improving the University of Alberta, and so knowing that the platform is through SEEP obviously elevates and increases the attention of SEEP, but it's, I think, seeing the results that matter for a lot of people.
Wonderful. Sarah, just over to you now. When SEEP first started and we had the students really be the co-creators of the Student Experience Action Plan, my understanding was that it was a fairly innovative approach to looking at student experience in universities, period. And I know you've been to different places to present SEEP. Can you tell us a bit about some of the reactions you've had when you're telling people about SEEP and how students really are at the forefront of being really co-creators of the improving experience?
Yeah, you're right, Verna. The co-creation methodology has really been a lot of interest to people, both nationally and internationally. And similar to the excitement that Christian described when students recognize the connection between their feedback and action that the university has taken, we've seen that reaction as well when we present to people. And co-creation isn't a complicated methodology. It's a more time-intensive one. And I think one of the reasons it was so well received here at the University of Alberta was it really does put people in that co-design that co-design chair. So it's moving beyond collaboration, and they can actually take their ideas, collaborate with others, and as a community, we can put something into action. And I think the reaction that we've gotten externally is they recognize that's actually quite complicated to do at a large research-intensive university. But the reaction also is that I think they love and appreciate that students were the ones driving all of the actions that we were able to do, and has encouraged them to reflect on how they're engaging students at their home institutions.
Now, I know that there was an update that was given recently, and I know that you're embarking on sort of more communications, but there's been something like, 70 plus initiatives from SEEP. And so how do you even manage something like that? And can you share a little bit of detail about what some of them are?
For sure, and it was a lot to manage. We have a great team, so Christian helped with that throughout the fall. So what we did was we invited all of the accountability holders of the action plan to report on the progress last fall. And we had more than 72, but the upcoming report to community includes 72, which kind of acts like a highlight reel that we've organized by the 7 thematic areas that talks about the different initiatives and actions that started during the 2023-24 year. Some of the ones that I'm really excited about are the launch of the Accessibility Enhancement Project that's going to look at improving accessibility and specifically the accommodation process for students. Really excited about the renovation that the university invested in 3 Tory lecture halls this past summer, because those were areas that we heard a lot of student feedback on. So they were leveled for accessibility, they were increased space in terms of capacity, and just the furniture got a whole, as Christian puts it, a whole glow up. So those are 2 that I think I'm really excited about. Christian mentioned the increase in mental health support. So those are, I think, 3 that most students in our community are going to benefit from.
And Christian, I remember when you were Students' Union president, one of the big pushes for you was the 0 textbook cost. And I thought you have all done a great job sort of promoting that. And tell us a little bit about what you were able to accomplish with that.
I think, and I'm sure so there's someone who's probably going to watch this video that's going to really appreciate hearing this, and that's the incoming Students' Union President, Pedro Almeida. And it really was a passion of his to really expand that program, because we do see the benefits from students talking about affordability being a priority issue for them and wanting to spend, less money on textbooks and putting that towards other things that impact their educational experience. So seeing students come to us and say, yes, I didn't have to pay pay any fees for textbooks for this course, or this program or this professor is using open education resources, did bring a lot of smiles to our faces, because it's just the little things that we can make to improve and make things more affordable for students, but also promoting it and making it a bit competitive and introducing ZTC Cup and seeing how that's kind of taken off. Augustana were the winners last year, and I believe we have, I don't know if it's been announced this year, I don't want to spoil it or anything, but just looking forward to how that's just become more present on campus, and faculties and departments are wanting to get more involved and say, okay, how can I make my course, or how can we expand ZTC in our faculty or in our department, has been great to see. Yeah.
So just coming back to you, Sarah, one of the big successes I would say about SEEP was the number of responses and input that we got from students, right, Christian? If I recall the first survey, we had, 4,500, 5,000 students that responded. And with this current survey that's out, even more numbers. And we know that survey responses are really important to us to inform where we're going to go and what's going to be important. So is there anything to share with us a bit about the survey so far?
Sure, you're right, Verna. So last year we heard from about 20% of our sample. The survey's out right now. We're at about 15% of our enrollment response rate. So I think we're on track to potentially meet or beat last year's record. And we've been checking so far not only for response rate, but are we hearing from students that represent the diversity of our campus? And so far that's also looking like we're on track for that. So
wonderful. And I hear one of the common themes that students have always been very concerned about for many years is about student advising. And so that's a big chunk to sort of, to try to work on. From either one of you, want to tell us a little bit about the work that's being done in student advising?
Do you want me to start off? Yeah, so student advising is an area that we heard a lot of through our engagements, both building the plan and then from the results of last year's survey. And I think can be summed up in that our students have inconsistent advising experiences across campus. We have wonderful student advisors. We have really passionate, dedicated humans that do that work, but there's areas for improvement. And it can be little things in terms of looking at ratios of students to advisors, to making sure that the information available to students allows them to self-navigate in ways that they're meeting their requirements for convocation, but also making sure that they see the opportunities in their schedules to participate in experiential learning, study abroad, all of those really fun things. So we know that there's areas for improvement, and so we're kicking off another community-driven project to look at what is a model that the University of Alberta could adopt that enhances the overall advising experience. And Christian's been really involved the last couple of weeks engaging students through tabling on that topic with us.
And what are you hearing, Christian, from the students?
A lot of it is what Sarah's already kind of mentioned. It's like, how can I get that help maybe as fast or as quickly as possible, especially if I'm from a faculty of so many students that are already, trying to look for advising, or I came into university thinking like I needed this, and this to, fulfill my program and graduate, and I realized, I don't know what I've been doing, so how can I get the right information as fast as possible without necessarily always having to rely on a friend who's gone through a similar problem. And I think there's a willingness from, students are very understandable about the pressures that our advisors are, facing and all that stuff. It's just a matter of there's a plethora of information in the university, and it can get overwhelming sometimes. I just need a hearing voice to just be able to direct me to the right spaces, and where do I go first? And if that's advising, it's just making sure that it can be a one quick shop rather than waiting and then being discouraged because you have to wait so long.
Yeah, good points. When I was Assistant Dean for Student Affairs, I had incredible advisors, and the people who actually offer to be advisors have students at the center of their heart, so really appreciate them. Next steps for SEEP, what's going to happen next?
We are going to wrap up this large student survey. We have lots of analysis planned for the summer that we've actually hired U of A students to do. And then we'll share that information out with people to, we see ourselves as stewarding the data. We need to get it into the hands of people that are making the decisions, doing the planning. And then, this time next year, we'll be well into the development of SEEP 2.0, Verna.
Ooh, SEEP 2.0, so another vlog maybe.
Maybe.
And Christian, any last words as you're about to graduate?
Oh, wow. I will say thank you to the SEEP team and to Sarah and the students who have provided all that feedback, because like I said, it meant from the bottom of my heart that I started university in this place almost 7 years ago, and I was overwhelmed and I didn't know what my time at the U of A was going to look like, and there were feedbacks I had and criticisms I had, and now being able to see that, okay, I would have really liked to have this yet. I'd really like to have a SEEP kind of plan when I came into the university, and seeing all that happen and seeing all these changes take place, that the next incoming round of students can come and benefit from the feedback and the changes that have happened, but it can also continue to build on that and make the University of Alberta shape the University of Alberta that they're looking for and they're hoping to want. So those are my last words of thank you. This has been a really awesome project to be a part of, and not only that, and a really awesome project to have kind of seen it through in its completion.
So, and with that, I want to say thank you to the both of you. SEEP would not be where it is today. And really, Sarah, you did such an incredible job when you led SEEP. And Christian, as we said, we couldn't do this without students. So thank you to you both, and we look forward to the next year and SEEP 2.0. So we're planting the seed, and thanks to all of you for watching Verna's blog.